I feel like art, in a sense, defines a person. When people think of art, they think of paintings, going to an art gallery, but art is something that is meant to be an individual level. Each person should have their medium. And I feel like that importance has been destroyed in this day and age. If you don't have a creative outlet, how are you able to express yourself in a tangible way? The things flowing in your brain, how are you able to just paste them into the world? Because this, I feel, is an unpopular take because most people these days, and I don't actually like that statement, but most people these days are okay with being idle. They're okay with going to work, coming back home. They're okay with going to school, coming back home. They're okay with just getting by. If you are just getting by, I don't understand how you are functioning without some form of art. Like, there's obviously other ways to express yourself outside of art. Like, for example, let's say you're a chess grandmaster or a really good chess player or something. Those people don't make art, but they have devoted themselves to their obsession. Obsession is so important. Like, those chess grandmasters are insanely smart people. Or let's say you're like a professional, I don't know, soccer player. You're not an artist, but you have a way to paint yourself into the world. Most people can't do that, right? Let's say you're a mathematician. To that, I would consider that a form of art. I feel like art has been too closed off. Art is so subjective. And I know people say that a lot, but art is genuinely the most subjective thing ever. I would I would consider a mathematician, finding new equations and patterns. I would consider them a form of artist. Maybe not traditional, but a form of artist. See, when people narrow themselves down, when people think of art in that one specific thing, oh, I don't know how to draw, I don't know how to sculpt, I don't know how to 3D model in my case. I don't know how to make music. People call musicians artists because they are. Writing is also art. Books are art. They are forms of art. Those people don't really find their form. People are artists without even knowing they're artists. Your grandma, let's say she knits. She is an artist because she is able to take something maybe in her brain. Let's say she wants to make, obviously, a sweater, but let's say she wants to make that. She's able to take that and use her physical hands to create something. Tradesmen, those people, oh, they work with their hands. I don't think art has to be working with your hands. Performance art exists, you know? You can be a dancer. That is a form of art. That's why I say art is so subjective. It's been 3 minutes. I feel like the world is losing color in that sense. You know, you there's that image of the McDonald's before and after, how it was incredibly colorful, incredibly vibrant, and then the next image, it's just a gray corporate box. People have been corporatized. Architecture used to be an art form, now architecture is just a place. You see a house, it's just a place. You see a restaurant, it's just a place. Oh, place, but you eat. You see an office building, place, but work. Religious buildings, I like religious buildings in that sense because those places of worship, art and worship were mixed together in a way that those churches are able to paint onto the world. When you see those really grand churches you see on your timeline, that is art. That is a true version of art. And that's casting aside religion too. We as a society need to value art more. And I think a big facet of why art is being tampered with is because people are just genuinely sadder these days. Art thrives on sadness, but this is a different type of sadness. This isn't a sadness that you want an outlet or you want an escape. This is a sadness that you get used to. This is a sadness that drives you into monotony. This is a sad, but people long to be sad now. You know, working 9 to 5, coming home, having basic pay, that is like rare now. Getting a job is so hard. Like getting a good 9 to 5 where you just work and come back and you don't have to struggle like that. It's just work, come back, work. That is so monotonous. And these days it's longed after. Like everybody in the tech industry, that is essentially what they want. Everybody that's in college right now to do tech, that's essentially what they want. The world has somehow made it so that you want to be boxed in. The art that you make, and I'm talking to you, the viewer, might not even be considered art to the world. If you like to code, that is art. If you like to dance, that is art. If you like to garden, that is art. But you should find a way to put yourself out there. Maybe you like writing. Write a book, write a play. Just write. Even if you don't think you're good at writing, just voice type. You know? Maybe you actually like drawing. That is the most traditional form of art. Maybe you like 3D modeling. Video art, photography, that is a form of art. Photography is interesting in the sense that it lets you get out there. Like, I feel like a photographer, at least the type of photography that I do, would like to go out to take pictures. Like, you can't be a photographer and stay home. You see how art adds little things to your life? It also brings you a sense of community. Like graffiti, if you've ever went to Miami, the graffiti art there is beautiful and it paints such a vivid picture of that place. Each piece of art in Miami, like the graffiti art, tells such a story. And I know art is supposed to tell a story, but it's not a Renaissance painting. But it's everybody walking through the street. It's like they had a say in that art piece. I'll even put some art pieces up while this video is going. I try to do minimal editing because I want my videos to be more slow pace, as things are just moving a little too fast these days. And unfortunately, my videos aren't that good for the algorithm, but I'm okay with that. I want people to be able to just chill to my videos. Singing, that's art. Opera, that's art. Puppetry, nobody does puppetry anymore. You could do puppetry, that's art. Obviously, we talk about architecture, fashion, jewelry design, ceramics, glass, calligraphy, sculpture. Like, I could honestly go on. Theater, I could go on. That is the type of life that I feel we were meant to lead. But we are not moving towards that. Think about your goals right now. And do you reasonably think that in all of your goals, do you reasonably think that you will be able to lead your best, most creative life in that? This is why I say, when people tell me, oh, when people retire, they get so bored, I'm like, you have to be insane. If I was able to retire and not have to worry about money, I would be so busy because I would just be constantly making art. I would write, I'd make comics, I would make music, I don't understand how you could be, this is the reason, how can you be bored when you have the time to truly express yourself in a world that doesn't want you to express yourself, in a world that is constantly drowning out your noise, in a world that is constantly desaturating your color. People long for time, but when they get time, they consume. Gluttony is one of the most underrated sins. If I had to pick one, I would say it aligns me the most. Because people want to continue consuming and consuming and consuming. And in any way you think of, it's not just food. Gluttony isn't just food. Gluttony is an overindulgence. Hedonism is a better word, I should say. But people want to keep on consuming their media. These days, I would say it's YouTube, Shorts, TikTok, Instagram Reels, Snapchat, Spotlight. I would say those are the biggest culprits. But that time used to be used for making silly little trash drawings. But those silly little trash drawings weren't trash. Those were you. Every piece of art doesn't have to be grandiose, or it doesn't have to define you. You might see, hey, I like that flower, let me just quickly sketch it. Or let me take a picture of it and edit it when I get home. Do you know how good that is for the brain? That is some of the best psychological help you can get. I'm not going to say anything medical because obviously I'm not a doctor, but I can't imagine how that would be a negative. Well, nobody's claiming it's a negative. I'm not trying to strawman here, but you get the idea. People need that type of art. You need that type of art. You need to find your medium. People that don't have their medium in that sense, at least I see, are just flowing blobs of energy, not able to control themselves. Like, how are you able to control your thoughts in a way? They just flail around your brain, you get an idea and you're never able to act on it. Obviously, every single idea I get, I don't draw or I don't create, but being able to say, I think that's pretty cool. I want to try to put that in my next build. That does wonders for you. And another reason I'm making this video is because I need it for me. Art has been one of the most important facets of my life, and yet it's been one of the most neglected facets of my life. I have neglected art again and again. When I grew up, I drew. And I was bad at it. But maybe for the time I was good because, I was still a kid, but I don't think I was good at it. But I still created. And I drew and I drew and I drew and I drew till I was in high school. That wasn't that long ago. But high school swamped me and I quit drawing. One of my biggest regrets in my life. I have bigger regrets, but that is a big regret. I wish I continued to draw because I would be so good. And I think if I was encouraged more and if school didn't suck me in so much, I would have continued. Recently, I've found a new medium. I have two mediums right now. I am obviously a 3D artist specializing in 3D spaces. As you can clearly see, you guys aren't dumb. But I've also started going into photography. Nothing crazy, just anything I think looks cool. I'll take a picture. I want to start editing pictures. But I don't think it's enough. And I want to start dabbling in maybe making some music. Or maybe going back to drawing again. I would not be afraid of it because I view it as like mental health help. Like I'm okay with having a bunch of different mediums. Maybe some people only want one. Your dad that likes to you do carpentry. That's his medium. And maybe that's just the more traditional medium for a man, but that is still his medium. Your mom that likes to cook, that can be a form of culinary arts. I've been tussling with this a bit, but I could even argue that going to the gym to, like, try to be better for yourself is a form of art or creativity in its own self. I've had some debates about this with my friends, but I view it as you want to shape yourself into a better version of yourself, whether it's to be healthy, whether it's to look more attractive. Those are the main two reasons people go to the gym. I don't really know of a third reason. Health or attractiveness are the main two reasons, but those two can be considered a form of art, especially looking better. Obviously, trying to be more healthy, I don't think that is a form of art, but the way you're doing it, pushing yourself physically every single day to shape yourself into a better being, that can be a form of art. I don't think we should go too deep into the rabbit hole, because then you could say, is meditation a form of art? Is eating a form of art? Would Joey Chestnut be an artist? That's not what this video is for. This is what this video is for. If you don't have a form of art, you don't need to find it. But it really boils down to your creativity. Do you feel like you're being limited in life? Do you feel like you could do more? Maybe. Just give art a shot. We should value art more as a society. And I think that will drastically help a lot of the problems we deal with as a society. Well, I think I'm going to end the video here because I don't want to drone out a bit, but thank you for watching this far if you did. This is my second video. I am very happy that you watched this far. I don't want this outro to be too long, so join the Discord server, book at the IG. I stream on YouTube because TikTok is trash and they didn't give me access. Anyways, I love you. Have a good day, night, ever. I love you again. Say it back.